My name is Ruby Dickerson, and I'm connected through Joppy by my grandfather, um, whose name is Orange Turner. He used to raise and sell his crops from down here, and that's how I'm connected to my grandfather. Um, Joppy, I guess, has come a long ways um, from when I first came, from the um, paving of the streets to the bridge, having two exits without having the railroad being the trains on the track. Keeping the paramedics from only having one way out or possibly one way in. So, negatives and and pluses. Well, childhood memories. I'm originally from New Orleans, so we would come up during the summer, and my grandfather had a horse named Dan, and we would ride the horse, and he would let all the children in the neighborhood come and ride Dan, through the trail to the candy house, and just stuff like that. Visiting relatives during the summer. Um, then later on, having my own family and parents building a homestead here in Joplin. Mm. Well, I guess I have a lot of those, but I would say all of them was. I recently started a nonprofit, so I guess that would be a plus when I was living here in Joplin. Having leaderships like Charlie Mae Jackson, Miss Dibbles, and Claudia Fowler, um, Dwayne Caraway, Don, I believe his name Don Hall, where people were just put into the neighborhood who actually kind of showed that they cared for the neighborhood and what happened, here in Joppy. Um, that's what I would say. As I mentioned earlier, I started a 501c3. When I was 16 years old, I got pregnant with my daughter. 16, dropped out of school. 32 years later, I went back to school, got my GED um, in 2007, and then received a scholarship from the Joppy Entrepreneurship Scholarship from the Mimosine Foundation, which enabled me to start the 501c3. This 501c3 is to help other young adults and adults, for whatever reason, that dropped out of school to go back to school and continue their education by getting their GED and do um, what I'm doing right now. I anticipate graduating with my bachelor's degree of arts and liberal arts and life science in May 2016. So the goal is to help others. Well, I said, my grandfather, he had his own crops. Had he would grow fruits and vegetables and then sell them on the side of the road where the golf court used to be up on Loop 12. Um, and he would ride and play his guitar and, gospel songs, with his guitar. And his way around was Dan. Everybody called him Old Dan. Then my parents built a home here on one of the um, lots, which used to be the fruit and vegetable orchard. Um, and that was in 1986. Since then, my parents and my sister, they all passed um, while I resided down here. Took care of my parents. I went back to school at the same time getting my GED to get my CNA certificate. And so there's a lot of things that happen, both good and bad. But for the most part, most of them were good memories, good things. And so I really can't complain. I'm very grateful for whatever, happened, whether good or bad. Um, there's so many things that happen in life, you know. Um, I can't just really just tell everything. But I'm pretty much good where I am right now.
So what's going well today?
Well, what's going good in Joppy? What I've seen, um, the streets, they're improving the streets from where some of them, maybe a couple of them are still dirt roads. They're now having concrete streets and improving the streets, should I say. Um, they built the bridge. My father and I had a chance to walk across the bridge when he was living. So that was a good thing. We walked across back and forth, so we enjoyed that. Um, they're improving things. They have the landmark now as you enter into Joppy. That's a plus, but it's not on the other end. But hopefully that will come. That will come soon.
What challenges are you currently facing?
I think the biggest challenge down here in Joppy is not having stores or different businesses where the tax dollars can stay within the community to help it grow. That's what we really like down here. It's just a lack of it. It's just probably one little store down here. Um, but other than that, the improvements with the water park, that's a plus for Joppy. Long time coming, but it's on time.
What are the biggest leadership challenges of Joplin today?
Communication, maybe. Maybe everyone not being on the same page. Everybody has different things that maybe they want to do, and have different ways of doing it. I see the challenge is bringing the community together as a whole and being on the same page. That's what I find that it's a lack of.
What makes leaders successful or unsuccessful?
Not being on the same page, not getting involved. That's a big problem. You know, everybody wants something to do, but if they don't attend the meetings or anything like that, then you don't know what's going on. You have to be involved with the community and try and find out how you can go about helping or suggesting certain things, um, trying to help bring something to the table to improve the neighborhood. Um, Without that, um, it won't work. You know, if you can get everybody to come to the meetings um, and agree on some things, of course we're gonna agree to disagree. And you can't satisfy everybody, but the majority will rule. So I think that if they just will come together a little bit more, and I do understand that as time goes by, everybody has their own life and they get wrapped up in it, and then it becomes uninterested. A lot of people move out of the neighborhood, and they don't come back.
What role do followers?
Followers could be a plus if it's for the good, if it's for the right reason. Um, if you have good leadership, then the people will follow you, and if they can trust what you say. If I tell you that I'm going to do something and I get it done, then I can pretty much trust what you tell me. But if you tell me that you're going to do one thing, you don't get it done, then I can't follow you. So followers have to have good leadership in order to follow. The leader has to be willing to be on the front line, because that's what leaders are. The leaders uh, are the frontline runners. And I'm a part of leadership at my church. And my pastor, all the time, he takes a lot of hits. And so as a team player, everybody has to be on the same page. You can't just like the leader on one page and your followers on another page. You have to get everybody on the same page. I think that the followers at some point want to be a leader, but they can't be a leader if they're not taught good leadership skills. I can follow you because maybe I want to do what you're doing, or maybe I want to do something in the role of leadership. But if I'm not being taught how to be a good leader as a follower, then I will always be a follower and not a leader.
What ways are you a leader? And what ways are you a follower? Has that changed?
Yes, it's changed a lot. I used to be a follower because I didn't know how to be a leader. But as I've gotten older, I've learned how to be a team player. And as for myself, being a leader, I have 8 grandkids. I have one daughter. She blessed me with 8 grandchildren. I have one great granddaughter. So, as a leader, I also look at myself as a role model for my grandkids, because I don't want them to, give up on their dreams. And so, leaders have dreams, and you try to fulfill those dreams. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen over 6 months. It may not happen over a year. It may happen 10 years from today. Because like when I got pregnant with my daughter, it wasn't something that I planned on doing, you know, but it happened. And um, and it's not that I didn't have a good role model or someone to be a good leader for me. My mother was excellent at being a mom, but as a teenager, I was hard headed and I wanted to I wanted to, as I got older, I kind of wanted to do what I wanted to do. And so I see that a lot in my grandkids. And as a leader, I try to teach them how to um, be the best that they can and not give up on what their dreams are. My dream was to finish school. I didn't get my GED until 32 years later. So it took me 32 years later to get, my GED and go to college, which was something I wanted to do um, when I, was younger, but it didn't happen. And now I am living that dream and being a role model and a leader for my grandkids to finish getting their education. So,
How does your faith influence your leadership?
wow, that's a good question. Wow. I was always raised in the church. Um, I hope I don't start crying. I was always raised in the church. I come from a faith base. I came from a Christian family. Um, when I was young, I wasn't trying to hear all that. Um, I wanted to do what the other kids was doing. That's that follower. I wanted to do what they were doing, and my mother would always talk to us. Even if she didn't go to church, she made sure we went to church. And she had questions when we came back from church, just to make sure that we went to church. So there was that time in my life when I was just wild. I was just doing what I wanted to do, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And then one day I just said, Lord, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to make things happen, make things work. I'm tired of trying to keep peace. I'm tired of trying to do things on my own. And I just want to let go and let you. And I forgot one day that I asked God not to ever let me get too far gone where He couldn't bring me back. And that was like almost 17, 18 years ago. And I became a member of IBOC, the Aspiring Body of Christ Church. And since then, I have grown so much. I have learned so much about how God has plans for us to prosper, and that He wants us to live life, and He want us to live it more abundantly. And so I think a lot of that, His word, has a lot to do with me not giving up, not thinking that I can't do what I've always wanted to do. And one of the main things that I always wanted to do was have my own business, go back to school, and now I have that. And He's blessed me with that. I believe that He's placed the people in my life to open up those doors so that I could grow. I don't I don't think I would have grown as much as I have without the faith that I've exercised to grow, because I've learned that faith is a gift, and that gift came from God. But if I don't exercise it, then it won't grow. He gave all of us the same measure of faith, but I may be believing in something because of my faith and, what I believe in. And we may be believing in the same thing, but you may have doubt where I'm like, I know that this is going to happen because God it's like it's like when I got my GED, I was skeptic. I hadn't, I was skeptic. I didn't think that I was gonna get it because the math was like, and I love math. Don't get me wrong, but it took me several times before I passed the math to get it, to get the GED. And then as I was going to college, as I go now, I work at a community college. I attend a university. I was going to the same community college where I worked at. And so I was just surrounded by education. So I had no idea that the 501c3 was even going to come into place. I had no idea. But that's God because, He blesses you when you trust Him with things that you've asked Him for. Sometimes we can ask God for something, and because we don't see it, we think it's not going to manifest, it's not going to happen. But He has His own timing and His own way of doing things. And so after I got my GED in 2008, I started going to college, and I didn't stop. Of course, when I first started going to college, I was overwhelmed with all of the work, but I kept on saying, God, I'm going to need you to help me out with my grades and everything because the classwork was overwhelming. I was going to school 4 days out of a week, and every other day I was doing those classes, 2 classes on Monday, Wednesday, 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then my dad had 2 strokes, and I wasn't prepared for that. And before I got my GED, I wasn't prepared for my mom passing. So all of that started building my faith in things because in the year 2000, my sister passed from lung and brain cancer. I was taking care of her. And then when my mom passed in 2003, I was like, I got to go back to school. She always wanted me to go back to school. So I went back to school. And like I said, I was raised in church. So it's not that I didn't know God. I just hadn't experienced it from trying to live a Christian life. And that was a test all within itself. Because I was like, don't take my mom because, I'm not ready. Like God, I'm just not ready. So He got me ready to say, I may not have it. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but when my mom passed, I trusted God enough to know that I was going to be okay, even with her not being here. It was tough. And that's when I made the decision to go back to school. Not only do what I wanted to do, but to do what she wanted me to do. So my dad lived long enough to see me get my GED, start my nonprofit, and see me go to college. That was awesome. Without God, I wouldn't even made it that far. Wouldn't made it this far. But I continue to trust God every day with my life and my family's life. And I pray for everybody around me because He does just what He said He's going to do. If He said He's going to take care of you, He's going to take care of you. So I'm going to stop. I ain't going to be no good.
What are some things you think that stand in the way of Joppa's future growth?
The only thing that I can think of that could stop Joppa's growth is people stop caring. about other people. But as long as there's someone out there that cares about the well-being of other people, Job is going to be okay. Things may not come when we want them to come. They may not happen when we want them to. But just like the concrete streets, the bridge, all of that, it'll come. It'll come.
Okay, so if Joppy had all of the resources that it needed, what it look like?
Let me see, this is so 5 years from now. I could see all of the streets in Joplin paved with sidewalks. I could see the water park finished. Other amenities for children down in Joplin around the park. I could even see a business or two that will help bring revenue into Joplin, where the tax dollars can stay in. Some of them, maybe all of it may not be in Joplin, but some type of tax revenue I could see coming.
Is there anything that we missed?
Buses, the bus line. I wish that the bus would run down in Joplin more often than it does. Right now, it only comes during rush hour in the morning and in the evening. Um, it could even use the dark rail could even come out this way, which would be another plus. But the other day I was coming in and I saw a mother that had like 5 kids, and they had to walk all the way up to Ledbetter to catch the bus to connect up at the dark rail up on Lancaster and Ledbetter, or which way they were going, because there's one on Buckner and Elam. But I would love to see that too, where it would come a little bit more frequent, because on the weekends the bus doesn't even run out here at all. So it's only Monday through Friday, and I'm not sure if it runs on a holiday. So it's very limited for families that don't have transportation. I would love to see that happen as well.
Thank you. Is there anything else you think we should be thinking about when thinking about leadership or how to keep Japanese certain time, marketing planning?
I just think that if everybody just pulled together and get more involved, it would be okay as far as leadership. Anything, I guess, just having the right person in place to be the leader.